Ben with Transmission Hard Parts. I'm here today to show you how to shift kit and go through a 518, 46RE, 47RE valve body. This can also be used on the A500 series, 42RE, 44RE, that kind of stuff. Basically all the 5.2, 5.9 liter Dodge stuff. Anyway, so with that, I'll jump right into it. We're gonna do the Transgo Junior Shift Kit. We're gonna do the Transgo TF detent repair. And the Transgo throttle valve repair. So first thing you're gonna wanna do is take off all this electrical here. There's just a bolt on that holds on the case connector. Then you're gonna flip it over. Two bolts down here by the governor pressure solenoid, holding on this heat shield. You just pop off this aluminum manifold here. Heat shield, pull off the solenoid, and then there's a little clip right here that holds on this governor pressure sensor. You just pop it off. Then there's 3 bolts on the side, little Torx bolts, holding on the overdrive and lockup solenoid here. Just set these aside for now. You should always replace these. They have a lot of problems, especially the governor pressure solenoid and sensor. You don't always have to replace the overdrive and lockup solenoids, but you should. We have these available on our website at transmissionhardparts.net. Also, everything you see here is available at transmissionhardparts.net. All the shift kits, the shift updates by Transgo, Superior, all that kind of stuff. We also have these valve bodies pre-done on transmissionhardparts.net. If you don't feel comfortable shift kitting them yourself, we also have dyno tested lifetime warranty valve bodies for as low as $200. If you want to go check those out, that'd be great. I'll leave a link in the description. Sometimes this gasket will fight you here. Just I like to take a razor blade, a utility knife here, and just gently get under it without scuffing the aluminum up too bad. Okay, so now that we got that gasket off, what we're gonna do is we're gonna disassemble the valve body here. First thing, this tube right here, this feed tube, you just gotta bend down these two flaps here. You just bend them down. The screwdriver works pretty good. And you can get a screwdriver down here where the feed tube comes in, and just gently kind of wiggle that out of there. On the other side as well. Take that out. Then, next thing you want to do is take off this pressure regulator valve assembly and the springs. There's a bolt on top here. Set that aside. This bolt is a different length than the rest of the bolts. Flip it over. There's a little bolt on the other side. And you're going to, this is under spring pressure, so you're going to want to hold this down with your hand while you undo the last bolt in the back. This is going to come off, this metal retaining piece right here. Then just lay these out how they pull them out. You got a spring on this littler valve here. Then on the pressure regulator valve, you have this end piece, the adjustment screw, the spring, and the pressure regulator valve. This one's steel, sometimes they're phenolic. The steel one's better, but the phenolic one isn't so bad. Alright, now I like to take off the D10 assembly. There's just an E-clip on top here, next to the rooster comb. You just pop off this E-clip. There's a little metal washer on there. And then you're gonna kind of put your hand over here because there's a check ball, or not a check ball, but a detent ball that locks this rooster comb D10 assembly into place. So when you pull this up, it's gonna shoot out. So you just put your hands over here. Maybe, if it'll let me. Okay, so that one fought me a little bit. Just pull this off. You're gonna pull off the little TV arm on the bottom. And you got the detent spring and your detent ball there. Okay, so now you're going to take out your manual valve. This one's steel. They have upgraded manual valves from a couple of suppliers. Yours is probably going to be the phenolic one. The Transgo kit comes with a steel one, so the one we're installing today. So you can just throw this away or set it aside for now. You're going to take out the throttle valve. This is just right here next to the manual valve. You're going to take that out. There's a spring. It'll come out after it. And sometimes this valve won't like to come out, so I'll take that out afterwards. So then, all these bolts on top here, everything except for leave this plate on, everything else comes off. By the way, these are all T25 Torx bits. This last screw right here in this location is a little longer, a little different. It has this this little washer on the end. It goes in this location right here, and that's needs to specifically go there, but it's the only one like that. So just pull your bolts out. Keep this little metal retainer. So then, right, you got your top piece. There's no check balls or anything right here, so don't worry about that. You have your separator plate. Right, you flip that over, and then right under here, there's this little tiny steel check ball. This isn't in all the valve bodies. If it's not in your valve body, don't worry about it. Just put it back together without this. It's fine. But it's in some of them, so make sure if it's there that it goes back in. Otherwise, it won't work right. Once you've taken out that check ball right here, just flip this over. And then there's going to be a lot of phenolic check balls in here. We got one small one. Another small one. Just keep taking them out. I'll show you these locations later in the video. And then you got one big one. Don't lose any of them. So then, what you're gonna do is that throttle valve we couldn't get out. That was right here, the TV valve. We're just gonna work that out with our pick. You can take some needle nose and pull it out once it gets pretty close. Mine's not close enough though. Just keep working it out. Then grab it. See, and that comes out like that. Set that with the rest of the TV valve. Alright, so I'm gonna go to the solvent tank. I'm gonna wash all this. You're just gonna wash it out real good. There's nothing that'll come out of here, no retainers or anything that'll pop out. You know, wash every piece of this. Make sure you get in all these holes if you can. Just get solvent in there, wash it out. If you're at home, you can use brake clean, engine degreaser, all, you know, whatever you want to use to clean it. So, I'll be back. Okay guys, so back now, everything's clean. Just gonna wipe it down real quick. I already blew it off, but trying to keep everything pretty clean. So first thing you're gonna do is take this main section of the valve body. This is the part that, you know, it's the thickest part. It has this little detent, the little spot where the detent goes. So we're gonna take that, and first thing we're gonna do, and let me see if I can't show you the shift kit directions. Actually, we'll drop some pictures, the pages of the shift kit directions in, so you can pause it and read exactly what we're doing. So, first thing you're gonna do is you need a file here, right? It doesn't have to be very wide. I think this one's like 1/8 inch wide. So we're gonna come here to the manual valve location, and the directions say we're gonna file a notch straight down halfway through this first land here. That little land right there, we're gonna go halfway through that. So you'll see here real quick. I just like to hold it, use my finger, kind of line it up. Once you get started, I actually like to do this over a different spot so I don't have shavings and stuff in my work area. So I'm gonna go do that real quick and I'll be back. Okay guys, so I'm back here. I don't know if you can see that very well, but it's about halfway through that land there. Anyway, so once you file through that, you're gonna want to wash it off again because there's gonna be metal dust everywhere. So I got that. Then you're gonna take a drill bit. I use one out of a different shift kit that we do, but let me see exactly what it doesn't come with the drill bit. It needs to be from 76 thousandths to 96 thousandths. So you're gonna take that. Okay, so you're gonna take that, and this land right here, this spot, and again, we'll drop some images in there and show you guys what the shift kit instructions say. You guys can pause the video and stuff, but this land right here, we're gonna take a drill bit and drill straight down through out the back side of this. See that? Little hole. I don't know if you guys see that very well. Right through there. Anyway, so I'm gonna go blow this off again. Okay, so now what we're gonna wanna do is flip this part over. This is your boost valve retainer. This little piece right here. You gotta take off this little 3-bolt plate. Right, take that off, and then hopefully you guys can see this. Pull off this retainer. Right, these break and it'll cause all kinds of weird problems. You're gonna toss this old one, and the junior shift kit we're gonna put in today comes with this upgraded reinforced one. Just gonna pop that in there. Make sure when you put it in and you compress the spring that it's flat. the spring is flat up against there. You don't want it to be bent down or anything like that. Just want to tighten those down. So now we're going to install the manual valve and this throttle valve upgrade. So we'll put a still image in so you guys can see exactly what we're doing with the throttle valve, our upgraded parts we're putting in here. You can put in, it comes with a blue spring or a silver spring, whichever one you want to put in. I think the blue is for regular duty, the silver is for heavy duty. We just do the regular duty in ours because we don't know what vehicle it's going in, but that'll be up to you. So right here in this throttle valve location, you can drop in this first valve, and I always like to, lube everything up. WD-40 works fine. They make all kinds of like valve lubes from Lube Guard and stuff like that. They work good too. But just drop that in. Drop in the spring, and then here is the throttle valve train. We're gonna toss this part, toss the springs. We already got it, and we gotta drop this in just like that. So just set this aside. Just push that in there. Make sure everything feels good. Then you're gonna take that the manual valve that comes in the kit. Right, you got the manual valve, and they call this the mumbly peg. This is what you use to press that ball and spring down, the detent ball and spring, so that way you can pop in the detent. Also, you want to be sure just to wipe everything down, because we washed this and then dyno tested it, and if you take this apart when it's dirty, you either want to wash these or wipe it down real quick. So basically, you're going to put in this manual valve right here. Make sure everything feels good. Make sure everything feels good. Okay, so what we're going to do now is, after we got our manual valve in and it feels good, we're gonna do this Transgo detent upgrade. What'll happen is that ball will actually like warble out that hole there, and it'll be sloppy and won't. Sometimes it'll get stuck in park and have all kinds of problems. So they made this little bullet nose sleeve that it goes into the rest of the goes deeper than the ball did. So it has fresh material there, and works really good. So what you're gonna do is just place that where the detent ball and spring went, just like that. And then what we're gonna do is take the mumbly peg that came in the kit. You're gonna take the flat end, put it up against the nose of that the new ball, and just might take a little fidgeting, but you basically want to line it up like that, push it in there, and then see it's pressing the ball down and wedge it up against this spot. That way when you drop in your arm, it just pushes the peg out of the way and it's holding that ball back. So you take your TV arm, come up through the bottom here, and you take your detent and just set it on there. Don't push down yet. You don't want to knock off that the mumbly peg, otherwise your ball will fly around, or the detent upgrade. So what you're going to want to do is get everything lined up. You're going to want to see that spot right there? That's where your ball is. You're going to want to push this down, knock the peg out of the way, and line up this spot right here, this little arm, all at the same time. So see if I can do it here. You might have to fidget with it a little bit. Okay, there we go. So then you're gonna take your washer, put your washer on the top. Oh, take your E-clip, put that E-clip back. All right, then you're gonna rotate this all the way to the side and pull out that mumbly peg. All right, so this piece is done for now. All we have to do is put in our check balls. So there's gonna be, let's see if I can't show you this. There'll be a big one that goes here. See if I can do this without dumping them out. Big one that goes there. Little one here, little one here, little one here. Little one right here, and right there. And again, we're gonna drop in the stills so you can see where the shift kit tells you to put the check balls. All right, so we're gonna set this aside for right now. And then we're going to, we're gonna pop off these 5 bolts, these torque bolts. This is the middle separator plate, or the channel plate section, I think it's called. Set those bolts to the side, and then just lift this off. Okay, so once you lift this off, some of these valve bodies don't actually have this check ball here. And that's because there's early and late models, and this I believe is an early model, so it does not have that check ball. They'll fit everything, whether they do or don't. It doesn't matter. You just want to make sure if yours has it, that you put it back in. So what we're going to do is take out this filter, and then take your drill bit, and we're going to drill out some holes here. We'll drop in a still image of exactly which holes need drilled. The only holes we drill are this hole right here. You'll see it on the shift kit. It's 2 and 3, and then 1 and 2 are the holes we drill. So you'll just have to look. There's different there's different sizes you drill for different applications, and depending on what you're going to do with the truck or the car or whatever it's for. Then you can go ahead and drill what size you need. So once you've done that, you put the filter back on, and make sure, I like to twist it and just make sure everything lines up good. Screw these bolts back in. So we're going to set this aside. And then that's actually all we need to do till we line it up. I don't know if I'm doing this in the same order as the shift kit, but this is the order that works best for me. So you're going to take this bottom section with the 3/4 accumulator housing on it, set the separator plate on, and then you're going to take this section, the channel plate section we were just working on, and don't forget to put this little steel ball back in, let's see, where am I looking? This hole right here. This little slot. And we'll drop a still image to show you what it is. I put the whole valve body back together before and forgotten this piece and had to take it apart. If yours has it, not all of them have this. If your valve body has this, you gotta be sure to put it back in. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna line this up. I use the filter hole for reference. That big hole right there. And see the big hole, the half moon right here. Just line that up with the separator plate. the metal separator plate in between. Just kind of get it as close as you can. And then I go in the corners. Just take a bolt. You can even lift it up if you need to and peek and make sure you're in the separator plate. And then you'll have a bolt going all the way through there. I put one on the other side. Okay, and that'll get you lined up. So then you take your main housing. This part's kind of tricky. And you're gonna set it on there and then start those 2 bolts. So the way this goes is when I'm holding it like I am, this 3/4 section is by my, is right there. I set it just like this. See with the, you guys can use this for reference, but I got the D10 assembly, 3/4 assembly right next to each other. I just drop it down. Finger tighten these 2 bolts I had in here. And that'll hold it all together. So now, you just put in all your bolts. Remember that bigger bolt we had with the washer on it? That goes in the high spot right here. Right here. Okay, so now you want to be sure these last 3 bolts right here on this side, you pop this this little retainer back on. And I just take this, I like to take the impact here and just barely go snug. And just tighten them all down. Not tighten them, just bring them close. So then I can come back with the torque wrench in a little bit here. Okay, so then you're going to take your little bypass tube here, feed tube, whatever you want to call it, and place it back in. There's 2 holes, a hole down here, a hole up here. You just got to line it up and push it down, make sure it's pushed all the way in, and then you just got to bend these tabs back. A screwdriver helps. Alright, so that'll hold the tube there. So now is the important part. You're going to want to take your pressure air regulator valve, make sure they're clean, make sure you lube them up real good. Right, you're just going to want to, you can actually inspect these. If they have a lot of little lines going this direction, then that could mean that it's worn, depending. If you can feel them with your fingernail, they're really bad and you definitely need replaced. But you can usually tell and see if it looks worn. And you can also look down in the bore and make sure that we dyno test all these, so we know 100% that they're good. They hold pressure just fine, everything works good. So we know that, but you might not, so just look for obvious wear like that. But this feels good in here. Then you're going to take this other valve. I'm not actually sure what this is called. We can, we'll drop in a still picture of what we're doing right now. So, drop these 2 in right here. This one and this one. Then, let me open this up. Alright, so in the kit it's going to come with this little steel shim, this little circle here. Put that on first. Then you're going to take this other steel shim or washer with the flat spot and put the flat spot right up against here like that, right? Okay, then you're gonna take this spring, slide it over the pressure regulator valve, and then the smaller, there's 2 yellow springs in the kit right here. It's the small one. You can tell pretty easily. Slide that over, and then you take your adjustment screw, set it on top, and then let me wipe this off real quick. Okay, so once you have this little adjustment screw on, you're going to you just reuse the spring for the little one, the littler spring on the little valve. You set everything up right there, and then you gotta take this metal retaining piece right here with all the adjustment stuff on it. You just line up this hole, set it inside that adjustment screw piece. So that way I use a T30 Torx, but I don't know what that'd be. It's actually an Allen head. That piece that's sticking out, it needs to be going towards you. So you just push it down and compress this with your hand. And what I like to do is take the longer of the 2 little screws that came out, and I just set that in the hole. Then when I'm pushing it down, just like that. This is the screw I put in there. See that? And you can see in the side, they're pushed down for now. So there's a screw on this side I need to put in, and then a screw on this side I need to put in real quick. Again, just barely tighten that down so we can go back and torque it to spec. Here I'm loosening this up just a little bit because this hole wasn't lining up right. So now I can have room to put this in. Okay, so now what we got to do is adjust this. I use just a T30 T-handle Torx bit. You just come in here. We'll drop a still image in here as well, so you can see what I'm talking about better. But you just put it in here and turn right, and you just, sometimes if you, when you're doing it, if you just push in a little bit, it'll help get it flowing good. You're just gonna wanna tighten this until on that adjustment screw piece, the metal piece on the inside is flush up against the retainer on the valve body. And again, we'll drop in a steel image so you can see what we're talking about. Okay, so now that's flushed up against there, or other side, sorry. Now that's metal piece flushed up against there. We're going to take off all these 5 Torx screws for this 3/4 accumulator section. Right? You'll often find that these are broken. Right? Pull this out. These springs will be broken. Like half of the valve body cores we get, these springs are broken. So we always replace these no matter what in all our valve bodies. The Transgo kit comes with one. I like to pull out this piston and clean it off a little. When you wash off the valve body, this piece doesn't get washed because it's totally in there fluid tight. So, right, you put in the new spring, and there's this little cup plug right here. It's a little cup plug. You just take a little punch or a bolt or something that'll fit in there, and there's a hole right here. Anyway, you drop that in there, and you want to drive it in about half an inch, give or take. The kit says that it's not fussy. You just got to put it in there a decent amount. So we're just gonna, about half an inch or so, give or take. So put your plate back on. Okay guys, so there you have it. That's how you go through a valve body for a 46RE, 47RE, 42RE, 44RE, A500, A518, A618, and 48REs are similar, but I actually recommend the Transgo HD TFOD diesel kit for those. You can actually put those in the smaller gassers too, but anyway, so yeah, there you have it. Like I said, we offer this at transmissionhardparts.net. They're already done, dyno tested. They all come with a lifetime warranty. We have just tested valve bodies as low as $200. So we have them with new solenoids. We got them with new solenoids, shift kit, just new solenoids, all kinds of whatever you need. We got just new solenoids, shift kits, anything. Go check us out. We'll drop a link in the description. Anyway, take care.